I know you believe in this team. I know you love this team. But at what point were you watching the game yesterday and you were like, seriously, what the hell's going on?
Well, I've seen enough Game 7s to know that you can't predict how the outcome's going to be. And, I was pleasantly surprised that our team responded the way I hoped they would.
Well, when you look at what happened to start the game, obviously everybody had nerves except for one guy. In fact, I'm sure you probably didn't know this, but he went on Luka and did an interview with about 13 minutes to go before game time, and then Shaq and Charles are talking and saying, there's no way I'd do an interview now. I can't believe he did the interview. And Ernie Johnson's like, no, I mean, we're happy he did, and he's ready to go. So how excited, nervous were you right before that game started? And it seemed like Luka had no nerves once that game started.
No, I was definitely nervous. I wouldn't let people see it on the outside, but inside was jumping around. But that's the beauty of having a guy like Luka. Like that's the time when you hope that your superstar shows up, and he did exactly what superstars do in those moments.
The locker room is fascinating to me. The guys that y'all have on this team, the chemistry that they have. And then even watching, our co-host here, Kevin, has been talking about this bench, and it's the most exciting bench you've ever seen. When you took on this team, did you know it was going to be that kind of locker room, or has that grown throughout this season?
Yeah, that's definitely grown. The culture that Jason has brought to the team is amazing. And if you look at I think it's the 2017 Brooklyn Nets team, 3 of those guys are on our team now, and they call them the bench mob, and they're bringing that to us, and our bench is amazing. The way they cheer, the way they call out defenses, the way they call out offenses, even the guys who want to play but aren't playing, they're selfless, and they legitimately cheer for the people who are out there on the floor.
Now, we have a lot of our listeners. We'd like to be a very interactive show. You seem like the best person to ask. Do you have any insights where people can get tickets, or can they trade concert tickets for Mavericks playoff tickets along the way?
I have no idea, but I have like 400 text messages, so I'm sure some of my family and friends are going to be asking me that when I read their text messages.
Do you go back through those text threads, though, and you're like, no, I see in January you were like, y'all are getting bounced in the first round. I didn't forget that. I saved the receipts.
1,000%. I'm so petty.
Nico, last night, Dinwiddie had one of his best games as a Dallas Mav. March was unbelievable for Dinwiddie. And then playoff-wise, for the most part, Game 6 against Utah, awesome. Game 6 and 7 of this series, awesome for Dinwiddie. Can you talk about what he brings to the table and kind of, I don't know, after having so many games that didn't go his way, he still was fearless in Game 6 and Game 7.
He was, and I really, give him all the credit in the world, but our coaches did such a great job of working with him. And Jared Dudley, who actually was his teammate on that Brooklyn team, at some point, Jared's just like, hey, man, screw it. Just go out and play. Just go play. Do what you do. It can't turn out any worse than it already has, because he had a couple of bad games. So, seriously, I think our coaching staff does a really good job of balancing the tough love from hugging and just giving guys confidence to go out and just play their best.
My co-host Mike he's constantly trying to trade players and get rid of players. He's like one of those guys that's like, man, all right, I got to make this team better. And I can imagine being a GM, you have to have a little patience, understanding what your team is and watching them grow. What identity have they shown throughout this playoffs that makes you go, man, maybe this isn't the perfect team, but this is the perfect team right now?
Our team is so connected. If you watch the way they play, the way the next person comes in, our bench always gives us a lift. And people are just selfless. If they have a role in, they're going to play. If they don't, they're going to sit out, but they're going to cheer for each other. And I just think our connectivity is really underestimated when we play against other players. And I watch other teams. I watch other teams' benches, and they don't have the same connectivity that we have. So, Coach K talks about this thing where he balls his, he holds his hand out 5 fingers and talks about, your fingers aren't very strong, but if you ball it into a fist, then, the collective is super strong. And I think that's the epitome of our team right now.
Was there like a particular moment, I'm sure it just progressed over time, was there a particular moment where you saw that spark where you were like, the chemistry on this team is going to be really special? And I know that it hasn't been a long time since the trade deadline as well.
No, it actually, it happened before the trade deadline. I think in December during COVID, when we didn't know who was playing, who wasn't playing. That's really when our chemistry really started coming together. And then it just picked up steam after the trade.
Now, speaking of the players on your roster, I know everything is going well. We get this question all of the time, so I figure maybe you can answer it now, and then all the reporters don't have to deal with it. Any chance we would get to see Tim Hardaway Jr. in this series?
I don't think there's a chance that he plays. I think that he's still coming back from his injury, so I honestly don't think that happens.
Well, I mean, I know you've talked about this a little, Nico, but I think it's amazing that I remember to start the year, you guys said, hey, we're going to have this kind of players committee that's going to go to the coaches, and it was Luka and Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, I know Hardaway Jr. is still on the team, but hasn't been able to perform since the injury. Could you have ever imagined to start the year, two of your three guys that you were kind of saying, these are our three best players, they're the guys that are going to need to lead us, that it's now become Luka, Brunson, and I'll say Dinwiddie. But, I mean, I know there's a lot more with Finney-Smith and Bullock. I don't want to leave those guys out. But just to start the year, it was kind of Porzingis and Hardaway Jr. along with Luka.
Yeah, and there's no way I could have imagined it. One of the things Jason and I talk about all the time is we didn't know the players. We knew them from a distance. We watched them play. We knew their strengths and weaknesses, but we didn't intimately know them. And it took a good 3-4 months for us to really understand who these guys are as individuals. So there's no way I could have predicted that.
So when you look at the Golden State Warriors, I know I'm progressing a little bit here, but when you look at what they can do, you guys have seemed to handle them well in the regular season. How much do you take regular season into playing a team in the playoffs?
Not a lot, because now they're better than they were. We're better than we were. I think it's tough to take too much away from the regular season. But definitely, no matter what, we still played them. We had some success, so I think that's a good thing that we can draw on. But we played Phoenix and we had no success, so we didn't want to draw on that too much. So I think as a coach, as a staff, you use everything to your advantage. But they're definitely a lot better now than they were during the season. Man,
and that's interesting because this coaching staff, and Jason Kidd's getting a ton of credit as he should, but the rest of the staff has made some massive impacts on this. That defense was suffocating, and I know there's some specifics on your defensive effort. And just can you tell me a little more about what this coaching staff has done together?
Yeah, they've done an amazing job. There's St. Jean. He really kind of handles the offense. Sweeney, he does the defense, and then Jared Dudley kind of hits everybody in between. And they're just like our team's connected. They're super connected. Igor adds his thing too, and it's a great staff. And then behind the bench, you have Christy Tolliver, who she holds guys accountable. She's amazing. Sam God is amazing, and so is DA.
Now, we saw the video of Jason Kidd talking about curfew and them joking about 10 a.m. curfew. Did you go ahead and stay out until 10 a.m. just to celebrate the win and everything? Or were you like, hey, it's the second round. We're only halfway there.
I'm greedy. Like, this is great, but I want more. And I think our team does too. So we're not celebrating too much. We're getting focused for the next round.
Is that, just real quick, Mike, I'm sorry. Is that a difficult dynamic, though? Because I totally understand what you're saying, but you guys did also pull off a major upset over the best team in the NBA this season. So is it tough to not, sit with that too long?
It isn't tough, because when you look at what lies ahead, what could be, it's like, why you never know when you're going to be in this position. So you got to take full advantage of it, and you don't want to waste time. The first game is Wednesday, so there's not a lot of time to sit around and enjoy it. You can enjoy it when the season's over with.
Joining us, is Nico Harrison here, who's never lost a playoff series in his career as a general manager.
Amazing.
In the NBA. I'm wondering, Nico, right now there's 26 teams that are preparing for the 2022-23 season with the draft and with free agency and all that stuff. And right now you're one of 4 teams left. I know this is your first year as a general manager. How much are you having to kind of work with draft stuff right now, with possible cap/free agency stuff? even though your team is still playing.
Yeah, Finley and I, we're constantly, daily, we're talking about players that we watch film on. We're talking about players that are in our range. I'm actually in the airport now, headed to Chicago for the pre-draft camp this week. We have a GM meeting tomorrow, and then I'll fly back to San Francisco for the game on Wednesday.
Nico, this is a busy schedule right there, man.
Man.
This is the era though of super teams, and we've seen this kind of go on, and you got to get your big three and do that thing. And this is the anti-super team, it looks like. And it kind of reminds us as 2011 Mavs fans of we were kind of the anti-super team whenever that was starting. But do you look at that and go, nah, I really still would love a superstar to go along with Luka, or I got the superstar, we're good there?
You know what? The book isn't written yet. It's not finished. I don't want to count this team out or cut them short of how far they can go.
Man, I'm just so many fans
so
are excited
giddy right
right now. I'm so excited right now. Did you by chance watch any hockey last night as well? I do have to know because we had dueling game 7s last night. Did you watch the Stars at all?
I have to say I did not, but my daughter is dying to go to a Stars game, so I do hope they continue to win so I can take her to a game.
I have terrible news for you then. I will be the person to break the news to you. They lost past midnight in overtime. I'm very sorry to let you know their season for now is over, but we got a new season coming up next year. Yeah.
How bad is that? I didn't even realize.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Sorry, I didn't want to put you on blast, but I didn't want you to tell your daughter, hey, we'll go next week. And she's like, well, they lost, Dad. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, just we're on your side. We helped you out with your daughter there.
Nico, I want to know what has been the most challenging part of transitioning from being at Nike to being a general manager in the NBA now that year one is somewhat complete.
Yeah, I think, at Nike I was an expert in my field. I was the best in my field, and then I go to, I'm a rookie here, so I don't really know everything. I don't know the ins and outs. And at Nike, I won every game. Didn't matter what team won. I had Nike guys in that locker room, or on the pitch, or what college team won the national championship. We always had a Nike team or a Nike player. But here, you literally feel the wins and losses. You can't escape them. You can't run from them.
So that's when you see Luka on the court doing his thing, scoring his 33 points, knowing that he's that kind of a guy, and having that kind of night. Was there part of you that was like, you know what, I need him back out on there for the fourth quarter so that he can rack up the numbers even more so, because his scoring average was down in closeout games after last night?
No, I'm the opposite. I'm waiting for the other team to clear their bench so that Jason will clear his bench. I want our guys out as quick as possible.
You were joking with us earlier that you're like, oh no, I'm petty and I keep receipts. How much did you love Jason Kidd's quote about when he said, well, everyone predicted a blowout? Well, they were right.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And that's, Jason has kind of that dry sense of humor, and it came off perfectly.
How many pounds does he lose a game running up and down the sideline on every single play? We've heard the audio of him like yelling at Dodo, like, don't go home yet. Wait. And like, it was amazing that just that one isolated play felt so intense.
Now, you said you heard the audio. Did you see the video?
Oh my God. Of him. Yeah.
He was literally in a stance the whole time. And Jason's so cool. He doesn't really show any type of emotion. He's just cool all the time. And he was in a stance the whole time. Yeah, that was amazing. My wife sent me that late last night. I was dying laughing.
Nico, I know it ended up being a blowout, so some of the stuff we don't concentrate on this part of it or not, but Jason Kidd made a decision to change the way the game was played before the game was played, as he wanted you guys to be on defense near the bench to start the game rather than the second half, correct?
Yeah, it was just a decision to switch it up. Like, we played there 3 times and lost. So it's like, all right, let's do something different. Like, we can't continue to do the same thing. Let's just mix it up. Let's see if we can just mix it up a little bit.
Now, you guys going to keep that the same way in Golden State, since that is a plus 30 in the first half situation?
I don't know. that's a Jason Kidd call. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But literally, they just wanted to switch things up. Like, just eat a different meal, have practice at a little different time. You got to do something different.
It worked.
So you are coming on the show right before the series, and if y'all win, I feel like we want to keep that momentum going and have you on right before the finals as well. That makes a lot of sense, don't you think?
Call.
You know what? I can agree to that.
Yes!
All right. Let's go rock Golden State then now.
Absolutely. Have a good time.
And Omar Turner says hello.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
That was my roommate in college. I got some stories about him. Just let me know.
All right. We grew up in Duncanville together.
I wouldn't have thought this would come up, but I've actually been to the Montana State campus, so perhaps we'll have a college discussion at some point.